He brought home a stone each time he returned, and his wife would cook him a fish without eyes. However, being blind, the man had no idea that the fish his wife served him every day had their eyes removed. One day, out of the blue, he announced his intention to make a pilgrimage to the Medicine Buddha. Legend had it that if one prayed 100 times, their wish would be granted. He wanted to give it a shot and see if he could regain his sight. His wife wasn't thrilled when she heard the news. She was afraid that if her husband discovered she wasn't pretty enough, he would leave her. After all, her husband was the most handsome man in the village, and his massage skills were top-notch. Even though he was blind, many beautiful women would come to his massage parlor of their own accord. The next day, he started praying to the Medicine Buddha with all his heart. When he returned, he caressed his wife's cheek and said that if he could see, she would be the person he wanted to lay eyes on the most. However, the more he longed for it, the more anxious his wife became. So she started cooking fish more frequently, and each fish had its eyes removed. One day, the man prayed as usual, putting in more effort than ever because it was his last prayer. However, when he opened his eyes with great anticipation, he found that he still couldn't see. He returned home dejected and broke the news to his wife. But as he bent down to pick up a stone from the ground, a miracle happened. His vision slowly started to return. He immediately embraced his wife tightly and looked at their faces in the mirror. The man believed that their sincerity must have moved heaven. However, he failed to notice his wife's sour expression. Since regaining his sight, even the simplest meals tasted incredibly delicious to the man. But when he picked up the dried fish he used to love, he made a face of disgust. One evening, after work, he picked up a pebble from the roadside and gave it to his wife, as he always did. An older man nearby found it strange and told him that no girl would like stones. He explained that she only pretended to like them because the man couldn't see, and she didn't want to hurt his feelings. The older man suggested that he buy a pretty hair accessory for his wife instead. Upon receiving the gift, the wife seemed lost in thought. She knew her husband had started appreciating beautiful things. Soon, the news of the man regaining his sight spread. A customer at the massage parlor gossiped, saying that the man's wife was too plain and didn't match his handsome face at all. He suggested that the man go and see Koharu, who had always had a crush on him. The man declined. But that night, when he looked at himself in the mirror, he was surprised to find himself exceptionally good-looking. The next day, the man went to the temple to express his gratitude. There, he unexpectedly ran into the beautiful Koharu. At her eager invitation, the man reluctantly followed her back to her place. Seeing the table full of delicacies, the man realized how poorly he had been eating. He had completely forgotten about his wife waiting for him at home. Just as things were about to happen between them, his wife suddenly burst through the door. She quickly walked up to her husband and caressed his face. Just as she was about to do something drastic, the man suddenly woke up from his nightmare, screaming and shouting until he felt his wife's touch and gradually calmed down. It was then that he realized it had just been a bad dream. However, the red hairpin by the mirror seemed to suggest that the story wasn't quite that simple. The next day, the wife went to pray at the temple, and her prayer was for her husband to become blind again.